Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the 441st Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 14th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today once again in these weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops. And once again, we have the pleasure to have the company of Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation to lead today's workshop. And we've already heard from him from our previous workshop in our intro video there, and we'll hear the remainder of that in the second half of our program. Okay, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin today?
Yes. So, as usual, whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute across this planet and beyond, we welcome you back, and we welcome you to a very, what I call, magnificent teaching today. Teaching of today is mainly on the structure of what we've done in the past and what we've been done. As many of you know, we invited you around the world to come in, to join in the simulation flight. We explained to you in the teachings of the past couple of weeks that we are in for a surprise with a new enhancement simulation unit, which was added to our test this week. If you remember, when we started the process of the enhancement flight simulation, we had a process of 2 units where we had 2 passengers on each. Could accommodate 2. We allowed you to sit in chairs one by one, get prepared, and join any of the flight units, either way. As we said to you, the evolution in the knowledge and understanding and testing, it was interesting for us, it was important for us to understand the work of each seed, physicality, soul of physicality, and the soul of the man. And as we understood, confirmed, we understood correctly, many of people who went through this, and you heard the testimonials, they talked about the seed 1, seed 2, seed 3, and then how they felt. And when they went into the system. In the evolution of knowledge and technology and development, in the past weeks, we have eliminated a lot. But we kept one side of the system the original way, and one side the new way. And amazing enough, the response, the condition we have seen in the new system in the past testing of 2 days, it did not surprise us. It confirmed the correctness of our decision, our technology, our understanding. And the beauty of it is that now in this system, we have replicated literally, instead of 3 parts elevation of the soul of the man, physicality of the man, soul of physicality of the man, in one go. But the beauty with it is, it's like you get yourself prepared and you go to the airport and you wait till your flight gate is announced. And then you say, oh, that flight, that gate is where I'm going. But the interesting part has been when we sit people in this, the new system, they go to the airport. They sit in the machine. Very few move to do anything because they're there. It's just, I have a drink, I have a coffee, I go to the sweet shop, I see what's for sale in the telephone shop. They just hang around and we watch them hanging around. And then we tell them, gate number 2 is open. You can go and see the grandma. And strange enough, they go and see the grandma. They talk to grandma. They hold the grandma. They talk to their mother. They talk to their father, and they enjoy it. And then, if you ask them or we inform them, you can now take the grandma for a walk or take grandma somewhere, they take the grandma to go somewhere. If we have a couple sitting in the two positions and we ask the couple, we did it yesterday, go to Paris. Both couples together go to Paris. And they tell us what they saw. We get another person and we tell them go to Paris, they go. We ask one to go to Kathmandu. I couldn't go to Kathmandu. How come? In the essence of the system, we had a French couple a couple of weeks ago. The soul of the language of the mother language is imprinted. Even the Germans, they are connected. We had no one from Kathmandu. So our people can't go. We have no one from China. No one can go. The understanding of the language comes in. And then we see the process is complete. Make your way to the exhibition center. Go through the process and bring that change for humanity. Next week, for the first time, we'll try to transmute. Those of you who come and volunteer to be transmuted for us to try, you sign a separate agreement. You accept the responsibility of the transmutation. Don't worry, we try not to leave a leg behind or an arm behind, because when you're in this system, there is no legs and arms. You have converted yourself in the packages of your soul and energy. All we do, we pass the envelope. We do not care what's in the envelope. Is it coin? Is it check? Is it a love letter? Is it a sad letter? You carry it. The systems are ready for this transmutation. From next week, we go to the next phase of transmutation and transportation, showing the man can travel in the direction of the soul of man. Would we succeed? We hope so. Would we not succeed? It means we have to go back and learn more where we missed, where we dropped the package, and collect it and bring it. It means we create the first cycle of the motions, transportation, man of love for existence. The one you love most, which is the physicality of man loved by the soul, and the soul of the man loved by the physicality of the man. Like your brother. This is what is. What motion means. Motion means brotherhood. Motion means loving. Unconditional love from one brother to another. Soul of the man is the brother of the soul of physicality of the man. No question asked. Not subordinate, but the lovers. And understanding this, we transfer the two from one to another. The process of understanding this technology for many is a lot. Yesterday, for the first time in the process of the development, I handed over the running, the monitoring, the operation of this system to one of our leading doctors. At the beginning, taught, and then it was left to him. So the teaching of the doctors to monitor has started. The next generation of what we call the knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation to take over the realm has started. Those of you who were in the center yesterday have seen it. One of our leading doctors has taken over the operation of the transmutation and transportation first for himself. He had to feel it. He had to understand it. You will not see me much when you come, as more and more knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation will take over the operation as we go for the next stage of development and development of many other things. In the past few weeks, we have understood more and we develop. In the next, maybe as usual, Keshe Foundation has got too many fingers in too many pies. The vertical transportation transmutation system will be shown in the exhibition, where you can walk in and where you can transport yourself to. This transportation and transmutation testing will be ready. Depends on our team to have too much in their hand, but now, as of yesterday, has gone on to what we call planning board. Maybe in the next 4 or 6 weeks will be ready. This is what I promised you when I showed you the exhibition center. I take you from one position of the bridge to the other. Now the knowledge is there to do. Is there a need for a mobile phone? Or is the understanding there that when I feel my brother talking to me, I distinguish, is it him as a soul, he passed away long ago? Or is him as soul being in New York, he's talking to me and I can talk back to him at the soul level and knowing, telling the physicality, oh, he's arriving tomorrow, we better make dinner. The present communication system of mobile systems has become obsolete. Even though we look for the different folding pages and different colors on it. Do you need to somebody else to eavesdrop on the pictures and the information your brother or your lover shares with you? Or you know how to do it and you can access it? Do you need a chip on a computer or a mobile phone to download everything into the chip, where the biggest chip, which is the brain of the man, is already there for you to add to? Now you understand the changes we are bringing in. We strive to bring the change on the level of the soul of the man, but at the same time, we strive to bring in the physical condition of today, that the two sooner or later merge in. Today, later on, Keshe Foundation will release an invitation card for you, Universal Council members, for you, Universal Council support members, for you, followers of the Keshe Foundation, to write in, to invite in the ambassadors in your country. You are in Bangladesh, you are in China. You send the invitation to come to Linz to your ambassadors in your country. The ambassadors of other nations, you invite them back. They have to bring with themselves, or book with us, the confirmation of the visit. Not everybody else can use the card. This invitation we release is for all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers to take the invitation to your world leaders, to your ministers, to the heads of the states, and to the key men in the country you are, to head of NASA, to head of Chinese Space Agency, to the head of communications, Microsoft, and the rest. We are ready, we are confident that we deliver, that they will change the position and understand. The invitation will be put on the pages of the Keshe Foundation for you to download, to fill in the name of the person and send an invitation. One of the knowledge seekers in Washington did this a few years ago. He took the World Peace Treaty directly to the White House. And he delivered it to the White House. And he got a response back for it from President Obama. And then we saw the rest of the work which we did, which brought the 5+1 negotiations in December 2012 in Brussels. Take these invitations, which will be put on the Keshe Foundation website, and every ambassador in your country is invited. Every world leader in your country is invited. Every member of parliament in your country is invited. Every key position people around the world are invited to come in. There will be a link to the website where they have to register when they are coming in, when we accommodate it. Be aware that in the past, we invited ambassadors of the country in one country where we were to come in. And we saw the mayhem the Belgians and the German pedophile group created by flooding the embassies of that nation. Now we go to every embassy in every country that does not allow any more these hooligans and pedophiles try to do their work. Keep them busy because there's something more is coming for them. It's your responsibility. I don't wait, somebody else might send it, line in hundreds, thousands of invitations to your members of the parliament. Italians did this last time, and we saw how Italy broke rank from the pressures of United States and European community and accepted the key of the knowledge. This time we give the key of man transmutation transportation. It's your responsibility. Last time I did. This time, you as knowledge seekers hand over the key of the freedom of the man to our governments. The reason we do this is very simple. Once we start transmutation, sorry, no one knows if you're in Sri Lanka and you end up in central New York and the police says, how did you come? Oh, I came with Keshe Foundation transmutation system. If you don't like it, I can go to Washington, I can go somewhere else. You won't see me here. We need to engage the governments to understand what is to come. Creation of one nation. Creation of one planet. Creation of one race is on the table. It's your responsibility and not mine. I provide the flight system. You are the agencies who have to sell the ticket. Every single one of you is an agent of peace. Every single one of you is responsible for what is to come. Organize yourself as groups, individuals, every ambassador, the governors of every city you live in, the mayors, invite them to come to see. You are Austrian, flood your president. Don't wait for somebody else. And don't stop with one card. The next week again, the week after again, till you get response, till you see we publish which world leaders, which ambassadors has been or is coming in or whatever. The only person who will not be allowed is the ambassador of the nation of Belgium and the state of Belgium. The way you saw the French person going into the system 2 weeks ago, 2 months of the most beautiful knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation for France came in, husband and wife. Yesterday, we could tell people to go to France and they went. If we allow this condemnation of Belgium to come in, we link him to the Peter files, and our children in space are not safe anymore. And you understand the reason why. No Belgians, born or bred, will be allowed, even my own blood, into the system. Unless they change. And then it's the responsibility of the world community to accept the change in their souls, to allow them back in. It's the responsibility of you to bring every ambassador, every world leaders into lanes to go through the system, to understand, to feel, to see the wind of change, as we heard in the intro. Then they plan how they're going to sort out the immigration, how they're going to sort out the injustices on this planet and the rest of it. We have and we are delivering the technology. The mobile system transmutation will be tested in the next 2 weeks. We were targeting for November and December. We will test to transport a stone from one to another, because Baha'u'llah, blessed his name, said, even the stone has a soul. And if we can expand the soul of the stone, we can transport the stone. Stone, or you, to go from London to New York is getting to the airport, checking in, flight, landing, customs, getting out, get your suitcase. Hello, 10 hours on the way. For those who travel with the dimension of the soul, home to home, New York to London, instantaneous. Would you like to get on a jetliner and create the CO2 which you cry so much about, global warming? Or would you do the warming of the heart of your loved ones and be in both places at the same time? Now you understand. The change has come. The change is there, is with us, and the technology is there. As I said yesterday and before, up to now, you could dream the mother who died 20 years ago. Now you decide and see the mother. Up to now, it was all theology and talk. Now it's technology and walk. We have systems who can deliver. So it has become part of the knowledge structure of the humanity. As I said to one of the richest women in the world in the past few days, I said, keep your wealth. It's worth nothing anymore. She got offended. Mr. Keshe, I wanted to write something to you, but I said, you have nothing to do. I can walk into the central bank of any nation now and carry bars of gold with me outside. The wealth of the nation is mine. Would gold have any more value when all of you, the way the British did in Khartoum, walk into the central bank of Libya, empty it and take it to the kingdom of United Kingdom, and create the whole mayhem of kicking England out of the European community for stealing gold? Now you all have access to the gold if you understand what it means. When we send you to the moon to pick up a stone, we can send you to any central bank and pick up the gold. Gold wealth has lost its meaning for the humanity as of now. The beauty of it is you cannot stop this technology because, Mr. President, you have cancer. No one can help you. The only way you can help yourself is to go through the system, expand and extend the soul and feel that cancer tumor and do something about it, because you're the only physician who knows how you created it. You will stop this technology, you guarantee your own death. And now you understand how we put the world leaders on the banner of demise. No man can stop this technology anymore, because now it's not a talk, it's a system. It can be replicated and it can be understood. And once you learn the extension of your soul, you need the system. Now we start the process of what are called unification of man, human race. This is the first step. We still need to look after you on the physical side, which, as you've seen, the Keshe Foundation in past 3 or 4 weeks has started releasing technologies, the generator. And we told you the generator is what we call plasma enhancement unit, part of the bigger system. It has a back and a front to it. The power generator, plasma enhancement unit, needs to be enhanced, energized for it to work, and it needs to be able to support. That's the purpose of it. In the past few months, by the invasion of Ukraine, we have seen the crisis which is looming in Western Europe and in many countries. Energy crisis. Energy crisis, especially to the nation of Austria, Germany, France. We have seen in the past 24 hours, for the first time, parity in US dollars and euro. As euro is collapsing, knowing that it will not receive energy from Russia, and it puts Russia in a control of the destiny of the Western Europe till they get what they want. Suffering, as the French minister said, we are preparing for unrest in European nations in coming months as we cannot supply the energy. The prices of the fuel has doubled. The prices of the fertilizer is gone non-existent because they cannot get hold of it, and it's gone up. Keshe Foundation responds to this in a very simple way, which many of you should have understood the way I worked. I stand by the flag of my nation. In the background of this flag, you see 2 things. The first 2 space reactors, about the same time as now, developed in 2008 in Tehran for the flight, for the test of the flight, for the test of everything else that could be done. But you know, I work one way. My ethos has been the way I always explain to you, when we go to space, if you need to build a building on the moon, you can't come back to Earth to get the aluminium, double glazing, and the rest of it, and the bricks. You have to build it according to where you are. Produce the aluminium which can stand the environment of the moon where you are. And if you look at these reactors of the Keshe Foundation, two on the right-hand side built in Iran some 14 years ago, and you work by my ethos of work, how can I have these reactors if I cannot fuel them in space? These two reactors are built to work on helium, on hydrogen, on other gases, which is in patents. Something which was hidden from the Keshe Foundation and the world leaders up to today, this minute, is for me to fuel these reactors, I had to create the gases in space on its own, which means it keeps my system self-sufficient. I could not come back to Earth and find hydrogen. I could not come back to Earth and find helium to take back to feed this flight system. As part of my work, which you have seen, I always create a self-sustaining system. In 2004, 2006, I developed the creation of the gas from the fields of the universe. That my flight systems, when they are ready, I don't need to have a gas tank. Today, I release that knowledge to humanity. The Western world needs the production of the gas at the service stations, at the power stations, to be able to keep the economy of the West running. Otherwise, 375 million people will suffer in the next few months. Riots are on the card, as the French, what we call minister has stated. The national government of Germany, France, Italy, and other nations are preparing how to handle the shortage of gases from Russia into Western Europe. The Keshe Foundations have prepared the systems and are ongoing to deliver these systems to the government of Germany. And guarantee a gas line pipeline at the point of demand to every power generation, every fuel stations across Europe within the next 3 to 6 months. It's your responsibility as you invite your ambassadors to come to Linz. It's your responsibility to invite and inform your governments the technology to replace the Russian gas line is available by Keshe Foundation in Austria. I developed this technology 20 years ago. And as I said, it's my responsibility that no human life suffers, especially when we have the technology. It's your responsibility to inform your governments in Western Europe and other places that system to produce methane gas, to produce hydrogen in a mass quantity is ready to be delivered to the nation. This will change the power play, the energy supply play, and it puts my life at risk. But I've done one thing. I have protected myself, and the knowledge seekers trusted by us have been given the technology to release if anything happens to me. And to this effect, today and now, we release 100 units of these in the next few weeks to those who donate for the saving of man to the Keshe. We are not selling gas units. We are giving it to you to knowledge to be available across this planet to everyone, that no nation will suffer, and you do not need to come to Linz to see the energy gas supply, but it's here in Italy, in France, in Germany, across European states, across the nations who are now suffering with the escalating prices of the fuel. By November, December, I release the production of gasoline. The units we release, you can keep it at home. Feed your home, heat your home, gas tank it into your car. You become energy self-sufficient in one direction. And as we said, as has been the ethos of the work of the Keshe Foundation, you understand why we released the energy power supply last time. The energy supply system needs a battery operator to start with, to charge for it to run. Now we give you the gas unit. Heat it, burn it, run it. The small gas generator, you have power for the house and everything else. We only want to put 100 of these units out today, no more. And it's done by donation, which means the Keshe Foundation, you become volunteers to test these, to become our ambassadors, to keep it. That cannot be scuppered, cannot be brought down. And you receive the unit, use it by instruction, create the gases, use it to run the heating, share it with the others, because the production is continuous. You cannot stop. We put this 300 units across the world. And only 100 units will be supplied. You are the ambassadors. You've got to get access to it, keep it, secure it, use it, and be there to carry the knowledge. You become the trustees of the knowledge that your nation in time cannot suffer. Never open it, never touch it. Just follow the instruction. You have a gas supply for decades, centuries to come. Those of you who are Iranian, you know what I'm talking about. You touch it, you lose it. In Iran, we had a bath which was lit for centuries with one candle. And then the British came and wanted to know how this candle works, and they silenced it and never could start it again. This is the candle of the knowledge for man in a dimension of physicality to be sorted. Negotiation with the governments of the Western Europe is by Keshe Foundation. It's for you to inform them to do the job. It costs less than 1 cent to produce 1 liter of gas. Today in Austria, 1 liter of gas is €1.30. This is advanced space technology to guarantee the supply of gases into the what we call the space motion reactors. The reactors which Iran was claimed to be what we call nuclear bomb. When I built the Iranian space reactors, when I built the initial reactors, I knew I have the fuel first. And I can produce the fuel at the purity I like. This is what was said in the report to IAEA beginning of this year, when we showed the Israelis lied to the Americans and the West. We need pure, 100% pure tritium. We need 100% uranium and plutonium. Proliferation is done through the space technology of the Keshe Foundation to be able to guarantee to deliver you to moon, not to Mars or another place, because sorry, the fuel was 99% perfect The 1% matched the space of Mars. Oops. The 100 units, which is now, will be delivered. We are manufacturing it to be delivered. I want to see donations in over 2,000 euro for the 100 units. I don't put a price on it. I want to cover the expenses of the Keshe Foundation. 100 units. Those who donate more receive it first. And I close it today. Whatever order comes in, we take as donation, and it has to go to Keshe Foundation Holland as donation, as a charity. Is there where the knowledge is set. We are not setting a unit. And we don't stand any legal standing for it. You make a donation, you receive a gift. Gift of energy from the source. You cannot have electricity if you don't burn, if you don't have the generator, if you don't have. Now you have the gift of the source. And those of you who donate to receive it, it's your responsibility to protect this with your life. It's your responsibility to share it, to show it to your government. It's a black box which supplies gas for the rest of the time of humanity. The way when you go into the system and you decide to see the mother, and you see the mother, now you don't need to dig oil wells to get to the gas line to get gases. You become that gas field. This is a freedom of man from shackles of control of finances. You asked, we responded. With the energy power supply, now with the gas line supply. Very soon, the knowledge seekers at top of the Keshe Foundation have been told how to make the gasoline. It should not cost more than a cent to produce a liter of gasoline. The same as it doesn't cost more than a cent to create a gram of gold. This 100 unit has to be allocated today, and only by donation. We cover the cost, we cover our expenses, we make sure you receive it, that you make sure the knowledge cannot be hidden. And the scientists cannot be paid by the Belgians who sleep in the same bed with us or will live with us to kill us. Now is 100 people. And those of you who bought the generators, enhancement system, with this one, you guarantee power supply forever. It's your responsibility. We are gifting this, and it's for you to take. You will never need to worry for the energy, heating, electric, or whatever. And the next system we will add to this will feed you for eternity. I have already given the knowledge to one of our close knowledge seekers how to make the feeding system. It's his responsibility to finish in the next 2 to 3 months and return it back to the foundation. Would not be seen outside, and I told him the trust in the Keshe Foundation we do stays as a trust. Then we can add anything to this, that from the birth to the end, you have the whole lot, as I promised you a few weeks ago. We start to govern, and to govern, we have to be able to support the nation of Earth. There should not be power cuts in any factory or any place on this planet when this knowledge is released now. There should not be no borders that no man can travel from this way on. We govern through the heart and the knowledge and the soul of the man, and let them govern through controlling the gas, the food, and the rest, which will become not important. The units you receive is the size of a half a meter by half a meter, or just about that size, maybe more, a meter by meter. Everything is set. You don't need to do anything with it. You're given instruction how to trigger it and how to collect it. Change your cars to a gas running system, then the fuel, fill up the tank, put it in the car. You never need to pay for the fuel. When you are not filling the tank for the car, connect it to charge up the batteries and to run your enhancement unit and the generator. And then when you are doing that, add the third system to it and feed yourself, that you don't need to kill anymore. You don't need to do anything anymore. And the beauty of it is, what comes out of this will feed this to guarantee a full cycle. Now you understand. We just don't give you the travel system. We don't give you the enhancement unit to be able to expand the soul. Now we have given you both. We're supporting the soul and the physicality at the same time, that when the two become at peace, we achieve world peace. Otherwise, it's a talk. You donate 100,000 to Keshe Foundation for the first generator to land in your country, you receive it. It's our work to do. It's my job to make sure the two run parallel. I cannot live in Europe and see the nations of European nation and suffering. The traffic lights are to be switched off in Germany. The stadiums to be controlled, the heating to be reduced, the school children program to be banned because Russia has cut the gas. My dearest friends, fuel should not become a commodity to control. It should be a commodity to bring joy. We see in the Western Europe today, families with a limited income, big percentage of the cost now has gone on the fuel and extension of the food. Fuel used to be €1 12 months ago. Today is €2.20. A family which uses 20 liter, 30 liter of the fuel to go to work now is short by €150 per month. The food extension, another 200. If you earn 2,000 a month, if you do that, 30%, 20% of your income has gone. We are there to put it back. We are there to make sure from now on, you don't pay even €1. 30 cents should be a balanced, continuous price of the fuel at the fuel stations, because it's not piped in, it's produced at the point. There is no fluctuation in the price because the machine makes it from the atmosphere. This game of oil industry from today is wiped out. Fair chance for the humanity to exist, fair chance for 85 million barrels of oil, which goes out every day at different prices, is finished. This will damage the revenue for many nations, but I've shared the knowledge, cannot be stopped. You asked, how can I help? We have responded. I gave you the wealth of the knowledge of humanity and the knowledge of the Creator. Now play with it. Invite your ambassadors to come to Lens and see the gas production unit. Invite your ambassadors to come and see the enhancement generator unit. I want to show you something to see how serious we are. In the past 7 days, we worked with the Americans in Tehran, which is very unusual. Americans online telling the Iranian scientists of the Keshe Foundation what they want. And I want to show you something very, very serious. This is on the left, the standard. On the right is the new plasma enhancement unit of the Keshe Foundation. This was done 3 times with the supervision of one of the, what we call richest man in US, online telling the Iranian scientists what to do. I thank the Tehran team, especially Yusuf and his team, for even staying on during the holidays, national holidays, to prove to the Americans that Iran has access to technology. Have a look. This time, the American comes up with the clever idea, leave the 2 fridges open, that the system become balanced. For 1 hour, the fridges were left open at the heat of 38 degrees in Tehran. You see them running. 30 minutes later, the standard system collapses on the left. Again, double the time into triple time, we keep the system running on the right. Have we heard from the American? No. Keshe Foundation has access to double the energy, triple the energy cycle. This was done by the supervision of the Americans online. We made one nation out of the Americans and the Iranians. While there is a cut on nuclear, on the plasma technology, we work. The Iranian team walked to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They stayed in the compound, in the factory, that the next day they could bring what the Americans were asking more to be processed. And this is a game they came up with. And that's how we started. We are in a serious power production, reduction in power, and delivery of the gas and technology. No nations, all one nation. And we allowed our team to be tested. And the generator is on its way. Do not use the PayPal account of the Keshe Foundation to pay for these orders. Pay directly into the Revolut account. Donations for the gas production has to go as a donation for the knowledge to the Keshe Foundation in Holland. Do not pay. We return the funds. We want nothing to do with it. We are not selling. You sign a disclosure. You sign the agreement that this box will not be touched. You sign that this can be used, shared. And then we bring the pressures on the Western Europe down. No child in Munich, in Paris, or in Rome should sleep hungry because the father paid for the fuel extra. There is no food to eat. I have meeting after teaching of today with the key gas suppliers into Western Europe. That closes the shortage of the gas coming from Russia. You have to understand one thing. I used to be in the oil business. I know the heads of Transneft. I know the heads of Lukoil. I've got contracts in a personal name with them. I'm one of the very few people, if any, that accept the Saudi royal family, which carries a contract name in oil and others. 30 years ago. I know what it means to play with these people. I know what it means, what it brings. But the risk is worth taking. Gas fuel, diesel fuel should be at the fixed rate that all the nations can afford, being African, being Asian, being European or American. The game of control of energy with OPEC is finished. And you are responsible for it, to hold this treasure, to hold this knowledge as knowledge seekers. As we give it to you to be the treasurers, to be holders of this, till the governments understand the technologies are spread, the same as the transportation through the enhancement unit, we can balance everything up. We might take 6 months of pressure, but knowing the knowledge is in the hand of your knowledge seekers, governments have to find a way. My advice will come to you what to do with these units after you receive it and collectively together. You become the treasurers of the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation for your nation. It's your responsibility to make sure that the light stays on, irrespective of the condition. The life goes on. Fuel has to have a price affordable by all the nations. The Shah of Iran created this mess, and he deserved to be deposed and opposed and removed. He created a race in the price of oil in 1972. And that race has not stopped. And it stops by another Iranian, because I love my nation and I love the humanity. Price of the gas has to be fixed across this planet at 30 cents, where the government taxation takes part of it, no more. You don't need to cross countries to get a cheaper fuel. You across this planet with the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation get the same price. Well, you can afford it. The oil industry, the play with the energy policy is over. And you are responsible for it to see it to go through today, not me. I could be assassinated anytime by releasing this technology. I take the chance, I take the risk, I take the responsibility of it, but the knowledge now is shared amongst knowledge seekers, which on my earth happens, are there to release the knowledge immediately in mass. If we do it now, we create a bigger mayhem. We have to do it in a stage that the governments adjust their taxes, the government adjusts their control, cut from military cuts. Armies don't need to be done because the military money comes from the petrols you pay taxes on, all to be done. We need this gap. We need this time and space to reach a comprehensive understanding of what we call peace process. I could sell this knowledge for billions and share it. The way when I showed the space technology to Lockheed Martin in 2004 in London, in Oxford, they offered me 4 billion, Mr. Cash, shelve it. I said, it's not mine. 20 years ago, I could take 4 billion pounds and walk. And none of you would have had this knowledge. In the next 3 to 5 years, if your knowledge seekers work with us the way we ask, we won't have this mayhem of oil crisis controlling the pipeline. 3 days ago, Russia closed the gas pipe to Germany, one of the main lines, for repair. We had the same thing last month. Today, at the moment, Germany is not receiving the fuel which needs to go to reserve tanks ready for winter. Now you know what Russia is doing. Keshe Foundation makes sure in September, Germany will have enough technology, enough material that it can say to Mr. Putin, good morning, sir, you can keep your gas. Gases do not need to be piped with this technology. You produce the gas at the gas station. This is not a new talk. Wang Lin is on the line. We were discussing with the Chinese government to place 1,000, to work with them to build 1,000 fuel stations that we will tank at the point anywhere in northern China. So this is not a new revelation that suddenly Keshe Foundation has come up with. I said to Wang Lin, I said to the Chinese, we produce gasoline, we produce diesel, we produce gas in the powers, in the petrol station. Now the Western world knows 3 years later than the Chinese. Gas, fuel, water, energy is the right of every man. Clean water is the right of every man. When we tell you in a simple way that when I produce you the methane gas, you burn it to produce the electricity or whatever, run a small turbine, cook it, heat it, whatever. When you burn CH4, methane creates two things, CO2 and clean water. When I feed this into your food feed line, you can see how the system is self-sufficient. This system should be in the house of every man. This system can be anywhere in the universe, anywhere in the world. If you're a human, you decide to have a barbecue on planet Mars, I have my system, even to produce fields of meat that I can produce the meat I want. We know nowadays they have burgers with protein, but no animal killed. Now you understand. We have to move in this direction. We have no choice. The biggest dilemma for me for years was to hit at the oil cartel. And today I have. This is where, by the biggest mistake of the Shah of Iran, we created this mess, 1972. And now is the time to stop. In a few weeks' time, I'll release the production of diesel. It's already shared with the knowledge seekers, so it doesn't make any difference. We release the knowledge to produce gasoline. This 100 unit, whatever you donate for it, when you receive it, you become a trustee, not the abuser, not the controller. You receive it with the soul of the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. You're custodial to this trust. That with it, we force nations to understand technologies in the country. We don't do it, the others will do it. They'll adjust the system. In a few days, maybe next few weeks, we release the knowledge to cover the shortage of fertilizers, which has been created through Belarus and Russia and Ukraine war. Most of the fertilizers in the West has come to the end because they cannot be exported. It's used worse than the fuel. Maybe in the next few days, we release systems. It's not ganses that you spade. That's dinosaur knowledge compared to what is to come. Every one of you using this technology, which now we offer today, you place a system on the roof of your house, blocks, wherever you live, and you feed every plant in your area, in your nation, that the shortage of fertilizer would not be responded. We publicly release this technology into the what we call a structure. Now you understand why I said I want 3,000 generators to be across this planet. You are worried that what's going to happen with this, what we release today, you don't need to wait for my generator to come, because now you generate the gases which can run the system without battery. I received a message from Eileen this morning. Are we going to have a good news today? I said yes. And I hope you received your good news. Pure water, clean water, energy is the right of every man at any point on this planet, as long as you live the physical life. That with it and in conjunction with the rest, you don't need to kill. You don't need to starve. You don't need to live in the dark. We are messengers of the universe, and we know how to do our work. Now you know why I'm Messiah. I'll feed your soul and I'll feed the physicality. As I said in the paper, of the messengers of the God are the scientists as well as the what we call the prophets. Now you understand why. At the beginning of teaching of today, I showed how I move your soul and create a perfect move, perfect soul for the perfect body. And now I feed your physicality. Respond to the 100 unit because you are responsible for it. And it's by donation, no expectation, but you become custodial for the knowledge. It's not for you to make a unit might work. We give you a unit that works. And we say to the Western nations on the ransom of the Russian government, we give you the freedom. And no system should enter the territory of Belgium. Any of you break, I handle through the soul. Part of our negotiation with the European Community for Energy and Supply is the end of the Kingdom of Belgium, or change of the rules to democracy by vote, by election, by presidency. That through it, we can stop the work of the pedophiles which are ingrained and embedded in this nation through the kingdom and kingship. Work with us to bring the change. Those of you who understand knows what risk I have taken today to release this knowledge. For much less, many have been killed. $0.30 should be the right price for gasoline. 30 cents should be the right price for diesel. 30 pence should be the right price for gas. This will bring a regeneration in the industrial revolution, in investing more for the governments in the hand of the nations and bringing the evolution and the much needed what we call stagnation, which came after Corona by many, many nations. I kept my promise, I delivered my promise, both for the soul and the physicality of the man in one lesson. I hope you understand it. Rick, if you'd like to go to the second part of this and stop it when the chat starts, where I finish, to stop it, please. Go ahead, and then we take a break and we come back, we answer your questions.
Okay, just to be clear, you want me to play the second half of that video that we played earlier?
Till the time when the guy starts talking about his part, and then we sort this out later.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much. And go for a break, and then we come back and we answer the questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh.